Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Gigawatts. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly movie news show where we obviously talk about all the news of the week. Well, I shouldn't say all, because I do curate and I do cut things out. I don't want people thinking this is a complete and comprehensive list of every single possible news item.
No, we don't have all night.
We don't have all night. We go long enough as it is, even while we do cut out things. But we do talk about the movie news. We also discuss the week's trailers. We watch a bunch of trailers that came out this week. We talk about those. We look at the week's box office. We talk about any films we watched at the end of the episode that we watched this week for non-review purposes. If we watch something for a review, we won't bring it up because you'll get reviews of those. But for anything else, not that I have anything this week.
I've got a couple.
I took the week of movie watching off outside of review purposes because I was going at it hard for 2 months and decided to relax and just play some video games for a week. But
I can respect that, but I'm not easing up. I mean, it'll seem it some weeks because obviously some were just for review purposes. But no.
But here's the thing: April's going to hit soon.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting them in now.
Because once Legion, Westworld, Handmaid's Tale, The Expanse, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Along with Lost in Space on Netflix, like, yeah, your movie watching time is getting cut right down.
Yeah, it'll basically just be cinema visits at that point, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, Influx every week. You get the Influx movie in every week.
All right. No, I mean for anything that's non-review.
Oh, right, sure, yeah. But there you go. So that's what's coming up in the show, all that stuff. But of course, before we get to anything else this week, before we even get to box office, which normally starts the show, we have the results of the Academy Awards, the 90th Academy Awards, in fact. And we made a bit of a... we had some guesses last week. We predicted who would win most categories, not all of them. There was a few that we omitted because we just couldn't really have any realistic guesses because they're, best documentary, but we have no buzz in any of those. We've not seen any of those. We have no opinions on them. But we had I don't actually know what the total was. I didn't check, but we did many of them.
We did a handful,
and we predicted, and we put some stakes on it. We put on some stakes, something that the MCU could use on a more consistent basis is stakes, and the stakes were this: simple, 1 point for each right guess, and whoever wins, if I won, we would be doing The Man from London on Influx sometime later this month, and if Connor won, we would be doing Tusk, yes. Kevin Smith's film, sometime this month. So we're about to find out. We're going to go through the results, and as we're going, I'm going to tally the scores. I already know the results, admittedly, but for the sake of following along at home and like seeing the live accumulation of the points.
Yeah. It's a shame you haven't got a nice little visual scoreboard coming up.
I could put one in post.
Yeah. Just a little tick mark every time we get one.
You're giving me more work here.
It wasn't intentional.
I'm thinking just a score. I could just have the number go up on each side.
I mean, you could do that too.
Yeah, I think that's easier.
Well, whatever works.
That's easier. Still more work than I was hoping for, but
it wasn't intentional.
Alright, so we're just going to start at the top and work our way down. I think it'll be more exciting that way, just based on just how it worked out when I was doing them. So, best film. The winner was The Shape of Water, which Connor did correctly predict, unlike me. So that's 1 point to Connor.
I went with my heart on a lot of these, including that one. So.
Well, that one paid off. That worked for you. I wasn't in love with the film, so I kind of shrugged at this result. But
I'm very happy with it.
Did Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway crack a joke about reading the wrong name?
Didn't. There was lots of jokes throughout the show in general. Even to the point where they had the voiceover when they go into the commercials, showing the envelope and going, "Look, it's from this envelope." But neither of them actually. What I really wanted, obviously, is for them to open it and say "La La Land." But
that's what I'd have done. If I was them and I'd made that mistake last year, I'd be saying "La La Land" when I opened it this year.
Yeah, no, they played it dead straight.
There
was a good joke where when Del Toro got up there, he looks at the envelope and went, "Yep, look, it's the right one," and then smiles at the camera.
He's double check. I think they all have to be hesitant now. They have to double check.
There was so many jokes. There was like right at the start, Kimmel was like, "So if you hear your name, give it a second while we check." But I mean, obviously it's not a surprise winner. Everyone was kind of expecting, as was Del Toro for Best Director, which we both
correctly guessed. So that's Connor on 2, me on 1 so far. Next up, Best Actor. Gary Oldman won that, and that was another point for Connor, actually. So Connor's on 3 points now.
Did you not say Gary Oldman?
No, I said Daniel Day-Lewis. I thought they were going to go with his last performance.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Well, it's easy to be smug now in 2020.
No, I don't remember. I thought that was the easy one at the time, frankly. I thought that was the most obvious one out of all of the things.
Well, why didn't you say that to me last week when I made the guess?
Because I wanted to win, obviously.
You don't get to sit here now and be like, oh, well, why did you do that? It's like, you could have said this last week. You could have said these things.
I could have done, but why would I help you? You were the opponent.
But why are you acting surprised now? That's the problem here.
What you chose, clearly. I assumed that I genuinely thought you said Gary Oldman for that one.
Jesus Christ. Alright, Best Actress. We both incorrectly guessed Margot Robbie for Best Actress. It was in fact Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards. So no points for anyone there. Which is a fine pick. I mean, I haven't seen I, Tonya, so I can't really...
I have.
Can't comment on that, but obviously Frances McDormand was very good. I just thought Robbie for I, Tonya was maybe the... Because sometimes I feel like you'll get one of the actor awards will go to a film that's not nominated for really anything else.
Yeah. Do you know what I think it ended up being? This is something that occurred to me just like yesterday or the day before.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want both the Best Actor and Actress to be just impersonations of real people. They wanted to be one just to be, okay, you can be an original character, and one of you is, okay, you were a historical person.
But you say that as if someone's like making this call and like sort of...
No. But I think maybe that's in their minds as they're going, okay, well, we gave that to him, to him for being Churchill. It's like, well, maybe this time we'll go, okay, well, we'll give it to someone who's not just doing an impression.
Side tangent here. Her award was stolen at the after party, but it was recovered and the culprit was arrested. So it had a happy ending, but just as a side little.
She also gave a cracking speech, well worth watching, because she, as you probably all know, she's a bit on the crazy side as it is, and she just kind of goes off on one.
Yeah, everyone was searching for what inclusion rider meant the next day. I saw that part of it. Yeah. Everyone's like, what does that mean?
That was her final words, because I'm leaving it with 2 words, inclusion rider, and just walked off.
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell's an inclusion rider? Yeah. And now we all know. Now it's the upper actors get to have a clause saying, oh no, X percentage of the movie should have a diverse crew cast.
Yeah, which is obviously because I think most are familiar with what a rider in general is.
Oh sure, yeah.
But I didn't know this was a thing. I'll be honest.
I don't know if it's a newer thing or whatnot. I will say there's a bit of possible misinformation, because I think the first reports of it they were all saying 50% have to be diverse of each thing, but apparently that percentage, no one, like I then saw later on that no one knows where that 50% came from. Like it's not a set percentage. It's
stipulated each time.
Yeah, like each time I think it's different, like just based on
depending on who's making the stipulation.
I mean it's a bit of a society needs training wheels to learn not to be non-diverse, but apparently they keep proving they need the training wheels.
I mean, there was lots of this in. Obviously, it's very relevant this year, in particular. But I think it was Kumail Nanjiani had a point of going, "Hey, Hollywood, don't do it because it's the right thing to do. Do it because clearly these films make money." It's kind of sad, but.
Wait, hon, are you saying that should be their mindset, or are you?
No, that's what he said in the Oscars. Like that was his thing of like, hey, look, Hollywood, just
oh, but yeah, but it's a bit of a joke though, right? It is the right thing. People should do it because it's the right thing.
Oh yeah, they should. Yeah. But he's saying, look, if that's not enough,
I'm clarifying what the intent behind the statement was.
I was agreeing with the training wheels thing.
Yeah. Oh sure, yeah. That's the training wheels. Yeah. Anyway, so that's Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor. Another one for you. You correctly guessed Sam Rockwell. I put down Plumber. I was going for the screw Kevin Spacey vote.
No, there's a logic to
that. So that's Connor 4, me 1. So far. Okay. I'm not particularly fussed about that. But Best Supporting Actress. What did we have? Alison. This was one for me because you guessed Metcalf. I went for Alison Janney from I, Tonya. So 4-2.
Having now seen I, Tonya, I disagree with this choice.
That's fair. Metcalf was very good, but fair enough. I shall not debate. Obviously, we had our own awards, by the way. If you didn't see those, go up. If you're on the audio feed for the news, they've been up in that feed. If obviously on the YouTube, it's just a mail fuzz. The 1.21 Gigawatts Movie Awards 2017 and the top 10 movies of 2017, two separate videos. But we went through some of the bigger categories and had our own picks and our own nominations, and
a little bit more diverse than just the Oscar choices.
Yeah. Matt, was putting in Kong Skull Island for everything. We kept saying, Matt, don't be a buffoon. Like,
look. Not to spoil anything, but Kong Skull Island might appear in Matt's top 5 somewhere.
do you know? It's funny. Obviously, I keep seeing conversation right now. Should the Academy acknowledge blockbusters more often? And I feel like, yes, they should, but only when they're deserving.
I agree with that.
Because there's times when they just ignore something, and I'm like, no, that's better than half the crap you're nominating. But then there's other times when I'm like, people just have their heart set on something for some reason, but it's like, but it's not really good enough.
No. I did see a Circus talking about how they're actually close. They're in discussions to actually having a motion capture actor award.
I think that'd make a lot of sense.
Well, obviously he wants it because
he'll win it for the first 10 years until it becomes more of a thing for everyone else. But
right. And I know there's talk of getting voice actor awards as well.
I think that'd be a good idea. I think maybe the motion capture, I'd maybe expand that to include things like Doug Jones say in Shape of Water.
Yeah, definitely.
Expand it to anything that's where you're a creature or something like that, or whether it's CG or you're in like a suit with makeup and.
Yeah, I think anything where your face is not clearly visible.
Yes. I think that'd be an interesting award to add, actually.
I'd be really down for that because I think we clearly like Circus a lot at his performance, and it deserves some recognition. And if he can't get it in Best Actor, then let's create an award just for him.
Absolutely. Next up, we had original screenplay. You guessed 3 Billboards. That is my rating's a bit. I'm actually on edge because I don't know what I guessed. Yeah, and I guessed The Big Sick because I was kind of hoping for The Big Sick. Neither of us were right. It was actually Get Out, which I was happy because that was the one thing it won, and I was happy it got something.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad it got something. I don't think the script is the strongest element of the things it was nominated for, but hey, win's a win. It deserves something.
It did deserve something, so that was cool. So no points yet again. So we're still in 4-2 for Connor. Adapted screenplay, I had Your Name, you had Molly's Game. I actually won that. Call Me By Your Name did indeed win, so that's 4-3, we're up to now. So we'll move on. And next up, animated film. We both guessed Coco. We both get a point for that, so not really changing the scores all that much.
I saw some trivia. The last time Pixar lost when it was eligible, for one, was I think the first Cars movie. Or maybe it was Cars 2, but that was the last time.
I was going to say, did Cars 2 win something that year?
I think I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe it was a really poor year for animated films that year. But
yeah, I mean, I never saw Cars 2, but I've heard nothing but bad things. So
it's not good.
That'd be a shocking state of affairs. Some stuff we didn't guess on. Best foreign language film went to A Fantastic Woman, which is from Chile. Best documentary show went to Icarus. Best documentary short subject went to Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405. I like that title, actually.
I was guessing most of these Untitles. I did see Icarus is actually a Netflix thing, so worth checking out, maybe.
Best live action short film was The Silent Child. Best animated short film was Dear Basketball, which takes us to best original score, so we're back to stuff we did guess. Best original score. We both guessed Shape of Water. We were both correct. So that is now 6-5. Connor being the 6, me being the 5. Best original song, we did not guess. Coco won that though for Remember Me.
Yeah, it's what I would have guessed because it's the only one I like. But
that is fair. That's fair. Sound editing and sound mixing both went to Dunkirk. You guessed Blade Runner for both. I guessed Dunkirk for both, so I got 2 points there. So.
Yeah, this is where I voted with what I thought they must see sense and not just give it to the war movie like they always give it to the war movie.
To be fair, the sound in Dunkirk is very notably good.
No, it's very notably loud. It's loud and it's an accurate replica because they have the money to just record the accurate things. It's not necessarily better than creating all the sounds in the other things.
I have it in good authority that popping balloons is the majority of the sound in the Dunkirk soundtrack, so they did a lot of good work.
Sure. Sure.
But no, I played it smart. You played with your heart. I played with my brain.
I am just bitter that Dunkirk won that. Not even that I lost. I'm bitter that Dunkirk won.
And now I'm on 7-6. So thank you, sound editing and sound mixing, for giving me 2 points. I am very glad for that. Next up, production design went to Shape of Water. I guess Shape of Water. You didn't. You went with Blade Runner. So I get another point. So now I'm on 8 and you're on 6 still. Huh? Yeah, I think those were the 2 obvious picks, though.
Yeah, it was going to be one of them, right?
Yeah. Cinematography, Blade Runner 2049 got it, and we guessed... Well, we both guessed Blade Runner, so that's points for both again. So I'm on 9, you're on 7.
Well-deserved win on that one.
We did not guess makeup and hairstyling, which went to Darkest Hour, because they did a lot of makeup in Gary Oldman, so have an award. Best costume design went to Phantom Thread, which we did not guess either.
That would have been shocking if it hadn't won, given that the film is about a dressmaker. That film is basically just, here is a bunch of costumes.
I actually did not know that's what it was about. I have obviously not seen it.
Yeah, so. No. That's what it's about. So if it hadn't won, where it's just, here's a dress, here's another dress.
Then this next one is going to get a reaction, I'm sure. Best editing went to Dunkirk. Not Baby Driver, which Connor guessed, and with his heart, may I add. I guessed Anya on a bit of a whim, but Dunkirk won it. So.
Screw this. No. This, I'm genuinely still bitter about it. I was angry on the night, like full rage, because this is just not on. It's just not.
Well, here's the thing. Best visual effects went to Blade Runner, which you did guess, so you get another point. But here's the thing. Apes should have won.
Oh, absolutely.
Apes has lost every single visual effects award in this trilogy, and it's deserved to win clearly every single time.
No. That's one of those points where, okay, sure, I'm happy that I won a point, but I'm annoyed because Apes definitely should have won on that one. It really should.
Nothing else like it. I mean, I always go back to the first Transformers, which, say what you want about the movie, but the visual effects at the time were absolutely goddamn groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And I think the Golden Compass with the shitty polar bear beat it that year, if I recall correctly.
That's right. I'm not sure, like, the first of the Apes trilogy was it was very good, but I'm not sure if it was ever truly spectacular in the moment.
No, I'll say it was, because going back and watching them again before War came out last year.
It holds up more than I expected.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but at the time when I watched it, I never went, "Wow, this looks incredible." Whereas obviously you get to Dawn, and I'm going, "Jesus, this is insane."
Yeah.
I never got that feeling with Rise.
Well, I think it's because Rise is more set in the world, so there's less of it, if that makes sense. Because it is mostly still people and buildings and regular things. But the apes themselves, when they're...
Oh, it's still very good. Yeah. I don't know what beat it that year, but it might have deserved it, depending if it was something particularly good.
We can find out.
If we can. Like I say, if it was particularly good effects, then maybe it deserves it. But the other two, definitely not. That is just not on. It's really not.
Right, so Rise came out in 2011.
It did.
Let's go to visual effects.
The suspense.
It was nominated, along with Transformers Dark of the Moon, Real Steel, which is a surprisingly decent little film. I don't know if you ever saw Real Steel.
Is that the Hugh Jackman robot boxing one?
Yes,
I never saw it, but
this is an okay film. Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 was nominated. The winner, a movie I like a lot actually, however I would not have picked it for visual effects over Rise of the Apes, and that is Hugo.
Okay.
I love that movie.
I see why the Academy chose it, because I get it, but I agree. Rise over there. I think that year it's between Rise and Harry Potter for me.
I disagree with Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter's just
the final one?
I think that's just typical movie, big budget effects that are not that spectacular.
I think it's got some pretty great effects in that last one.
Say what you want about the movie, but I still put the Transformers third movie over Harry Potter for effects.
I can't say I never saw the third one.
Yeah, for effects. I'm not talking about anything else here, to make that clear.
You'll have a riot on your hands in the comments.
But I do love Hugo. I always say this, but Hugo's one of the most surprising movies I've had in the last like 10 years. Like I went and just, oh, it's an Scorsese movie, yeah, it'll be fine. And I came out just in love with what it was. And I think so much so that it's probably my top 2 or 3 Scorsese movies, which I don't think a lot of people will share that opinion with me, but
fair enough. I never saw it, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge Scorsese fan.
Don't let that stop, because it's not a Scorsese movie. I mean, it's him that directed it, but it's not a Scorsese movie. If that makes any sense.
I'll check it out at some point.
Honestly, it's a great little love letter in history and filmmaking.
Oh, cool. I'll add it to the list.
But no, so there you go. That is us talking about the Oscar results. We're already 20 minutes in. Oh, geez, it's going to be a long one. So we'll get to box office then. Actually, no, the winner. Before we go on,
we already can't. If you've been following, you know.
Yeah,
it's already on the screens. If Peter did his job properly,
that's true. It should be on the screens, but we can't see that right now. So the final score is Connor has 8 points, and I have 9 points. Now, I'm not maniacally laughing because you're going to hate what I picked to watch. I'm just maniacally laughing because I don't have to watch Tusk.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not really against watching. I've no previous experience with the director, but it sounds like I could love it. Like you know my tastes. I could, but I knew that you would maybe not like Tusk very much, given your distaste of Kevin Smith.
So yeah, that'll be coming sometime on Influx later in the month. Look forward to that.
Yeah, it'll happen.
And it does not count because we typically rotate picks along with the vault and anything else that comes up. This is a neutral one, and then we go back to our picks. Oh, obviously.
I'm not saying this takes your pick. I would never have dared.
Because otherwise, what was the point of doing that?
Another one of those films the following week, if it happens to be your turn and it's your pick.
I could do, yeah. Time for that 7-hour damnation.
You probably won't, but you could.
So, box office last weekend. We forgot to guess what Black Panther would make. I wanted to again, we forgot to. But it's still number 1.
Guessing around that.
Did you say 600?
Yeah, I don't know what it was at last week.
No, what it made last weekend. I meant not.
Yeah, I don't know what it was at the week before. So I'm guessing.
You're guessing it made 600 million.
Sure.
Domestically.
Oh right. That's extreme.
Honestly, even worldwide, that's a silly thing to guess.
I meant 60. I don't know why I'm going 600.
Aye. You said 600. 66 million was the 66.3 million is what it made on its third weekend. The worldwide gross now is at $940 million at the time of recording.
That's after what, 3 or 4 weeks?
3 weeks. We're just going to its 4th weekend, so
right.
That's 3 full weeks.
That's incredibly impressive.
That is, it's fantastically impressive.
Infinity War has the bar has been raised.
I know that's the weird thing. Like, who would I guess last year? Oh, Black Panther's going to outgross Infinity War, but it might.
Don't get me wrong, Infinity War has a very good chance still.
Well, I mean, it is worth mentioning that even Age of Ultron, which was not as loved as much as the first one, still made 1.4 billion. So I'm still expecting easily $1 billion from Infinity War.
Oh, sure, but
yeah, no question.
I was not expecting it to be anywhere near this sort of competition, where I was going, do you know, this is actually possible that this could outgross it.
Honestly, I think if I was to make a guess, I'm going to say this is going to end up about 1.3, and then Infinity War will be something like 1.6. I think Infinity War will still win, but it's more of a competition than it would have been. And I think that's interesting.
I was thinking, okay, Black Panther might get to $1 billion, maybe.
It's not even a mate.
No, but that's the thing. Yeah. Not all the Marvel movies have.
Most of them haven't.
Most of them haven't.
So it was none of them did last year. Last year they're all about 800 million, which is very good. That's not bad.
Obviously, yeah. But, so it was a maybe it'll get to $1 billion, but there's definitely no sure bet. Now, obviously, it's getting to $1 billion and more. That's
I cracked this joke last week, but look forward to Black Panther 2, look forward to Black Panther 3, Black Panther Civil War should be good, look forward to
Black Panther. Black Panther World.
Yeah. Black Panther World of Wakanda. His sister's going to get a spin-off, of course.
If the current comics upcoming or anything to go by, we'll get Black Panther in space.
Oh yeah, I'm down for Black Panther in space.
It's coming.
So that was number 1, obviously. Number 2 was Red Sparrow with 16.8 million. Obviously not a particularly great opening weekend for that. Number 3, also a new entry, was Death Wish with 13 million. This was the wildly misguided remake of Death Wish. I saw the trailer for this, and I don't know if this was when we were done doing this show. So I don't know if I spoke about it on a show, but
Yeah.
just how ridiculously poor taste the trailer was. It was basically right-wing gun like fetish stream. Oh, let's go kill all the criminals because I'm a hero middle-aged man. Like it really, everything about it felt just like the opposite of what you want in a movie right now.
Yeah. Did you see the poster with what's his name on it?
Bruce Willis.
Yes. Sorry, I blanked for a second. They for some reason.
Do you know, for a second I was going to be confused and be like, "Who's he talking about?" Because he can't mean Bruce Willis. He's Bruce Willis, so I mean, it's obviously someone else.
I just blanked for a second.
Yeah.
But they had to Photoshop the gun into his hand based on based on the picture that they took it from. It's like that he wasn't actually holding a gun originally.
Why just
I know.
Don't put it in then. Just have him in the poster. Why not? I don't even
know. I know.
Okay, so that was number 3, was Death Wish with 13 million. I mean, that wasn't a high budget movie, so I guess that's kind of okay for
it's fine.
But that can just quietly go away and die, please.
I mean,
that's fine.
Red Sparrow, besides its cast, doesn't look super high budget.
70 million. So I mean, it's not.
It's not cheap.
Because the general rule is to double it, so you include the marketing cost. So it has to do at least 140 million to break even. What's it at worldwide right now?
I'd guess around 30, 35. If that was 16.
No, it's at 54. But we'll see how quickly it drops off.
Yeah.
But then again, just breaking even is not a success. That's just like
it's not.
No. Yeah. So yeah, I have no interest in really seeing it because I've heard it's a pretty dry spy movie.
Yeah, I'm planning on maybe seeing it next week, double it up with some stuff. But I'm down for dry spy things usually if they're good.
Yeah, no, it's not for me. But hey ho. Number 4 was Game Night with 10.4 million. Number 5 was Peter Rabbit with 10 million, almost exactly, just 5,000 over. Number 6 was Annihilation with 5.6 million. Number 7 was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which is just not going to die. Let's have a look at what that is worldwide. 931.3 million, which is not much different from last week because obviously it's only doing small amounts now, but still.
But the
insane.
fact that that's over 900 million.
And then Black Panther's about matched it in 3 weeks, which is also insane.
Yeah, incredibly insane for Black Panther, but still insane for Jumanji. Let's not overlook that.
Yeah.
Like, Black Panther is just leaps and bounds ahead of most things ever.
Number 8 is 50 Shades Free with 3.4 million. Number 9 is The Greatest Showman with 2.7 million, and then number 10 is Every Day with 1.5 million. That's your top 10.
Not super interesting, but hey, we're almost at blockbuster season.
We are. I think we have I think Wrinkle in Time's coming out, and I think that's maybe going to dethrone Black Panther. We're not actually. It's kind of 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, this month we got what? Wrinkle in Time. We've got Pacific Rim. We've got Tomb Raider. We got Ready Player One.
Oh yeah, April's hitting big. We'll have a lot of big stuff to talk about. Do you want to make a guess?
They're all March, aren't they?
March, sorry, yeah, not April.
I was like, did I skip a month?
I'm just saying the wrong month. That's all.
I'm pretty bad with months, so I actually assume I'm wrong.
Do you want to guess Black Panther's take next weekend or this weekend?
It was at 66, so I'm going to say, I'm going to 40. I think it holds.
Okay, I am. 38.
Oh, you're going in close.
I think 35 was too low, so I'm going with 38.
Okay.
So we'll see who wins that. What does Wrinkle in Time make then? That's the new number 1. Or maybe number 2. But well, that's the thing. Week? I guess based on the amount you're going to guess, you're also guessing if it's number 1 or 2. So
yeah, I honestly I don't know. I didn't even realize that was next week. I don't know. I don't think it. I think it might do about 70. Maybe
70. Nah, I'm going to say more about 50. Which may be wildly out. I don't know, but
I have nothing to really judge on for this one.
But hey, so that is that is that. So, okay.
So now we can start the rest of the show. Only half hour in.
Yes. Our first usual section, assuming there is some after box office, is comic book movie news. So we'll get kickstarted with that. First thing, it's basically the same story as last week, except now it's official and it's confirmed, and that is Kristen Wiig is officially Cheetah in Wonder Woman 2. Patty Jenkins confirmed it on the social medias. I shall quote you. Yes, it's true. So incredibly lucky to welcome the sensationally talented Kristen Wiig to our Wonder Woman family. Can't wait to finally work with one of my favourites, and so excited for what we have planned. Hashtag Cheetah.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I said last week, I don't love Kristen Wiig, but yeah, I'm down.
I like her a lot. I think it's a different role for her. But I'm actually kind of optimistic to see what she does with a sort of darker role.
No, I think if nothing else, Wonder Woman got casting pretty spot on. So I mean, to be fair, a lot of the DC universe, despite all its faults, casting has generally been pretty good.
Yeah, there's a giant black mark in the shape of Jesse Eisenberg, but other than that,
yeah, I'm not disputing that. But I'm just saying generally there's something pretty good casting. So casting's never really been my worry going forward.
No. And obviously now we can be excited for Wonder Woman 2 because one was good.
Yeah, so, exactly.
And here's a great thing as well, is I'm hoping that the third act fight won't be a CG mess, because if Cheetah's the villain, then it should hopefully be a bit more less
subdued.
Yeah, but more maybe aerobatic and stuff, but not like wall of CG planes throwing at people.
Yeah.
That'd be my hope. So yeah, also sticking with DC, there was a little tidbit about the Joker standalone film that might star Joaquin Phoenix this week. Just a little tidbit, but apparently the Joker will be a failed 80s comedian in the film.
Stop it.
I concur with that. I concur. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about it. Joker should not have a backstory. That's my official stance on the subject. Okay, next up. So here's the thing. So this has been in the works for a while in terms of them trying to get this off the ground, but Sony is officially moving forward with Bloodshot, which is a Valiant character, a Valiant comic book. Okay. And Vin Diesel's officially signed on to star. So we got Vin Diesel as Bloodshot, adaptation of the comic book series. Dave Wilson, the long-time collaborator of Deadpool and the upcoming Terminator reboot, Helmer Tim Miller, and creative director as their Blur Studios is aboard to make this feature directing debut with the. So he's making his directing directorial debut. He's worked on all these other movies with others, but this is his debut.
Okay.
Is Dave Wilson. So yeah, the script is from Arrival writer Eric Hesserer. That's weird. There's like two ERs at the end of his name. That's kind of hard to say. Heiserer. Yeah, Eric Heiserer. But he's writing it. But you wrote Arrival. That's a
fantastic script.
That's a lofty script to have in your back pocket.
It's weird to think, all right, Arrival, Bloodshot.
Yeah. So the film will be in the tone of the classic 1980s tentpoles like RoboCop, Terminator, and Total Recall. They're speaking my language here.
Yeah.
Sony's been aggressive with this. They're hoping for a franchise, and big money on it, and they're going to start shooting in July. Bloodshot is a central character in the Valiant expanded universe composed of thousands of characters. They've said that before, and we've picked apart what does thousands mean.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's like 12 main characters.
Of characters embodying various genres, tones, and demographic groups. Ordinary people in extraordinary situations rather than gods and demigods. So it's all science fiction based is what they're saying, it's not.
Yeah.
I
mean, Shadow Man's kind of demony. There's a demon world.
Hey, I'm reading what they're writing here.
No, I know, but I've read some Shadow Man.
The Bloodshot series comprised of more than 110 issues with more than 7.5 million copies sold. And those numbers are actually pretty low compared to,
especially as these were selling in the 90s, right?
Yeah, they went away for a long time and came back. So 110 issues isn't exactly that much. Superman and Batman are in their 800s.
I'm pretty sure it's done like 30 or 40 in the last few years, Bloodshot.
Yeah. So it centers on Ray Garrison, aka Bloodshot, brought back from the dead by Rising Spirit Technologies through the use of nanotechnology, and suffering total memory loss. Ray struggles to reconnect with who he was while learning what sort of weapon he has become with the help of a group of other augmented combatants called Chainsaw. Is that the name of the group?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the name of a group or if that's someone else who has a chainsaw attached to them.
I think that's the name of the group, which I think is a fun name for a group. We are Chainsaw.
I kind of hope that's an acronym. I want to see them tell me what that stands for.
It isn't written like an acronym, but I mean, I wouldn't dispute the possibility. But I mean, I like Vin Diesel. I like action movies. I like the things they're comparing it to, what they want it to be. Having the writer of Arrival gives it an odd bit of pedigree that I wouldn't have been there otherwise.
It does, yeah.
So
all these things are sounding kind of alright.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm excited for it because I have no connection to the character, but nothing's a red flag. Nothing's saying.
Honestly, the biggest red flag for me was when they said they want to build a franchise out of it, because I go, okay, focus on this movie first.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. As long as they do that, as long as it's a standalone movie, maybe some hints to where it could go afterwards, but focus on the movie and
yeah. And I guess my follow-up to that is, when they say a franchise, is that specifically just Bloodshot, or do they have rights to other Valiant properties as well to go down that route? I'm not sure who owns rights for these things in terms of movie deals.
Well, remember, we had this news already about how Valiant themselves are being more of a farm-out for movie and TV thing. So I'd imagine it's their call more than Sony's, and if this takes off, Sony will want to do more with them, and it'll maybe
yeah, makes sense.
Develop from there. But I think that, though, the way I'm reading it is, I mean, it's probably both, really, but at least right there, I think it's just, no, we want this to be a big hit so we can make sequels. But
I thought so. That was my first inclination. But obviously, when it's something from a larger universe, I question.
Well, I imagine if it is a big hit, they'll start talking about other things as well. But
well, Sony need a universe to rely on, because they're milking Spider-Man for all it's bloody worth.
They do. But this has more potential, at least on face value, I think.
No, I agree with that.
Not that Spider-Man doesn't have potential, just Spider-Man in their hands and what they're doing with it currently is...
They don't know what to do with the Spider-Man extended universe.
Well, that's the problem. Spider-Man shouldn't have his own extended universe. He should just be part of a larger world.
He should be Spider-Man and his sequels.
Oh dear. Anyway, so sticking to comic books, Netflix has acquired the rights to the extreme universe of graphic novel characters created by Rob Liefeld, to big artist in the 90s, and create Cable and Deadpool and whatever. Even mentions Deadpool, came from him.
Yeah, I did laugh because he was teasing this on his Instagram a few days before the announcement. He put a big Netflix logo, and people were going mad, going, "Oh my god, there's going to be a Netflix Deadpool series." Like, there's really not.
No. They're quite happy making movies and making money with that. But yeah, so apparently this was a 7-figure deal, and Akiva Goldsman's been set up to oversee a high-end writer's room, similar to the ones that he's got for the Ology series. Remember we talked about that, the Ology series.
Yeah.
And also the Transformers spin-offs. So it's the same thing. He's getting a bunch of different movie writers in, and they're going to sort of sit and pan out, okay, so here's how we can turn this into like a franchise, a universe of movies, and do things with it. So it looks like Netflix want to have their own comic book movie universe, but they're going with extreme 90s characters from Rob Liefeld. Which, honestly, as much as I make fun of Rob Liefeld, and I do think there's a lot of silliness to him, I actually do think a lot of his stuff, as much as I've not read a lot of these things that I'm about to mention, they could make for fun B-movies. If they
make, like, solid 80s, 90s action movies.
Yeah. Again, kind of like how we're speaking with Bloodshot, it's going for that kind of vibe. The Extreme Universe covers 6 comic books encompassing more than 50 characters. See, 50 is a reasonable number that I can believe. That include Brigade, Bloodstrike, Cybrid, Regex, Bloodwolf, and Kaboom.
The only one I'm genuinely familiar with is Bloodstrike.
I don't know any of these characters at all.
I'm familiar with Bloodstrike. That's about it.
I read, a good 8 to 12 comic books a week, and I don't know any of these characters. I mean, I say a week, I mean of new releases. That's not including
anything older,
back material. Yeah, I'm talking new releases a week. I'm reading that. But anyway, so an earlier deal had been struck with producer Graham King and Fundamental Films, but it didn't work out, and Netflix stepped in and took the rights. So that's what's happening. The Extreme Universe of characters are written very much in the subversive, edgy style that defined Deadpool, and I think they've already said that this is going to be full-on R-rated all the way. So
yeah, Netflix don't give a shit about that, do they?
So yeah, it looks like they're going to have an R-rated shared universe of movies with these ridiculous characters. And honestly, as much as okay, yeah, I don't know who's super excited about Liefeld stuff. Again, kind of like we just said, if they turn these into B-action movies, I actually could have fun with this.
I think the biggest thing that they could do to screw this up is give it too much budget, which is why Netflix might be perfect for this.
Yeah, they may be. Yeah, right. Yeah, just, $30-40 million budgets for each movie.
Like, yeah, keep it like a low budget action movie that's kind of aiming bigger than it should be.
Yeah, and have it be kind of cheesy. Like, if I'm going to watch a movie about Cybrid, who's like a cyborg hybrid of some kind.
Yeah, no, and anything that Rob Liefeld's ever created, I want it to be cheesy.
Yeah, yeah. So, in regex, I don't even know what a regex is.
Is it regex or rejects?
Well,
is it a softie like reject?
I don't know, but it's RE-GEX, which is why I'm saying regex.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I don't know. Rejects kind of sounds right.
That sounds right. I never even thought it might be standing for the word rejects.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it as Gex, as in the video game character Gex.
No, I get where you're coming from,
but rejects does sound right. So maybe I'm just having a brain fart there. But like I say, not heard any of these characters before. So, but yeah, I'm oddly optimistic about the potential of that.
Yeah, it could be fun.
It could be fun. They could be nice and silly and just a fun time.
No, give me once a year. Just give me a fun action movie to watch at home with some popcorn.
And do we eventually get the Avengers of it where they all team up?
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, and it'll just be called Extreme, but without the E, it'll just be an X. It's like Extreme.
Yeah. And I'll get some shit because people will be like, "Oh, but X-Men got that first."
Yeah. So we'll move on to general news then. That's the comic book news wrapped up. First up, just a quick thing. Rampage, which is coming out in April, is actually moved up a week because Infinity War moved up a week. So they're terrified that it's going to overlap too much. So because they were 2 weeks apart, but then Infinity War moved up, and they're like, oh shit, that's only a week. We want our second weekend to still be pretty healthy. So they've moved a week ahead. So they've moved from the 20th to the 13th of April.
I'm not sure I blame them.
I don't either. It's fine. I mean, I know they've got The Rock, but it's still not. It's
not going to be Infinity War, is it?
No. So
as much as I'm not excited for that movie, it's going to make bank, and everyone should get out of the way.
Yeah, smart move. So we'll move on to the next thing. So Dune, which obviously David Lynch made in the 80s, and we actually reviewed that. It was one of the earliest influxes we ever did. Was we watched Dune for the first time and we talked about it. Obviously, there was the famous Jodorowsky's attempt at making it from the 70s, which is kind of infamous, and there's like documentaries about that and all the rest of it. But the new details, though, we have. So Denis Villeneuve is making the new version. He's doing a reboot of it, which is quite exciting because obviously he's a good director. Basically, he mentioned this week that it's not just one film. He's doing at least two.
Okay. I thought I heard this because I thought I heard like a year back when he was first attached. The rumor was it was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, well, I think it's all been rumors and stuff, but I think this is the first confirmation from him that it's like, no, it's not just one film. It's like at least two, maybe more. That was the exact quote. The goal is to make two films, maybe more. And given our biggest complaint when we watched David Lynch's Dune was like, there's too much in this. This is easily two movies, maybe three.
Yeah, and we know how much stuff was cut out of his original cut as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this just makes a lot of sense. It's a good idea. So by all means,
I'm down.
Multiple films, go do it.
I will likely have read the book by then as well because it's on my shelf. It's in my list now.
The question is because I kind of love the David Lynch one for all its faults, and I love the music in it, and I love the kind of the weird tone that it strikes. I just wonder, like, will I like the serious Denis Villeneuve version as much? Will it being good eclipse my love of how bizarre the other one is? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. All right. Speaking of things that are close to my heart, though, jeez. So we're getting a new Terminator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Against my protests, because everything that's been made after Terminator 2 has ranged from mediocre, i.e. Terminator 3, to absolute garbage, i.e. Terminator Genesis. In that order as well. And Salvation's in the middle.
I think I like Terminator 3 slightly more than you. I think it's all right. It's slightly above mediocre.
It's fine. It's just kind of redundant. It doesn't need to exist. It exists just because.
I'm with that. But if it's on, it's not like you're not going to regret watching it.
Sure. It doesn't have the dread of the suspense of the previous two, and also the plot's just kind of it's just there to exist. And obviously up until now, my big thing is like, okay, so don't bother doing these anymore because clearly if James Cameron is not involved, which he hasn't been, there's obviously no point. It's just not working. Now that's the one thing that makes this one a little bit different because Tim Miller's directing it. He's the director of Deadpool, but Cameron is involved. Cameron is producing. How much input he's actually having, I really don't know. But it's like almost like they knew I couldn't be excited any other way, so they have him attached just to like.
That's it. Like, part of me goes, right, are they looking at this going, look, we know reception's not been good lately. If we just get Cameron's name attached, just talk him into attaching his name.
I don't know. It's because the thing is, Terminator 2 ends the goddamn story. So anything else that's come after, unless it's set in the future war, so it's kind of like before Terminator 2 happens in a weird way, because time travel.
Yeah.
Then okay, fine. Like I can live with that. That's why I think Salvation, at least in terms of the idea, wasn't necessarily terrible. They just chose to do a lot of weird things with it, and
that wasn't even that bad a movie. It was just really boring.
I don't know. They picked the wrong director. They focused on the wrong things. Just a lot of weird choices. But so Schwarzenegger's back. Linda Hamilton's back for the first time since Terminator 2, which is also interesting. And also, I feel like they're probably going to ignore everything since 2, because why would they want to include Genesis or anything else? I don't know.
Yeah. They're pulling a Halloween, right?
Pretty much. But the news this week, though, so that's all stuff we knew. And it's also coming out July 26, 2019. That's the current date. But the new information, though, is we have the new kind of... I don't know if I want to say lead, per se, but certainly the new sort of Sarah Connor character. Obviously, Sarah Connor will be there because Linda Hamilton's there, but in terms of
it's presumably going to be a legacy story, right?
Yeah, passing the torch in some way. But I do like who they've cast in this role.
Go on.
Mackenzie Davis.
Okay.
From San Junipero. She had a small role in Blade Runner. She was in The Martian.
Yeah.
I quite like her. So we got Arnie, we got Linda Hamilton. Cameron is loosely involved. I'm not getting excited. They've burned me too many times.
Have you been excited for any of them? Or is it a case of you've been somewhat excited for all of them on some level?
Well, I was excited for 3 at the time.
Yeah, sure, 3. But what about the others?
Salvation, optimistic. I thought they were, so it's set in the future war. Good, that was what they should have done after 2. And then Genesis, I was like, this looks... Like, there was small glimpses of hope in the trailers. Like, I thought, they're doing like a kind of Back to the Future 2 thing where they kind of revisit the same things, with time travelers, so they're sort of having some murky fun. But then the movie was just absolute garbage. So right now, like, they have to do a lot to win me over, to even get me remotely excited. They're going to have to hit me with the trailer. They're going to have that main theme playing, because that's something that all the films since 2 have avoided for some reason, is avoiding the main theme.
Yeah, it almost feels like a rights issue in a weird way.
But it isn't, because Terminator 3 had it in the credits, and then Genesis did actually start with a new version of it, which I really liked, and then it kind of forgot it for the rest of the film. But I said that in the review of Genesis at the time, is that it actually started me off in the right foot, because it had this like slow... It was like a really slow, like, emotional version. I'm like, they're starting with the theme. They're going to hit me hard, and then...
It BVS'd you.
It BVS'd me, yes.
Yeah, the first few minutes be like, this isn't so bad. Maybe I was overreacting at these trailers.
Yeah, one small glimpse of hope. That was the first trailer. Okay, they're doing the whole Back to the Future 2 thing where they're revisiting certain times in the last movies and doing different things with them. Okay, that could be fun. Maybe not as something that I like in a canonical sense, where I think that's what I now think of as Terminator canon.
Yeah.
But it could be fun. And then the second trailer, and not spoiler because it's in the trailer, but no, John Connor's back from the future as well, and he's an evil Terminator. Right. Let's move on before I get upset.
Before you go on a proper rant, yeah.
Before I get upset. So, and also Amelia Clarke can't goddamn act for shit. So, so next up, David Chase is returning to The Sopranos. He has got in works a quasi prequel to The Sopranos, a movie, of course, because we're on the movie news show. But it's not like right before it's set though. It's set in the 60s, so it's in the same universe as The Sopranos, but it's set way back when. It's called The Many Saints of Newark. And it's set in New York during the New York riots of the 1960s. That was the time when the African Americans and the Italians of New York were at each other's throats, and amongst the gangsters of each group, those conflicts became especially lethal. So it seems like it's going to explore the history that I assume was maybe some of the backdrop for why the current relations in the show were the way they were.
Yeah, it set the stage for the political climate.
Yeah. Now I'm going to lose some credit with a lot of people because I have never seen The Sopranos. It is on the to-do list to try at some point. I will get to it eventually, but it's just not something I've never gotten to.
Yeah.
I think it's because I don't typically like gangster stuff that much, so it's not inherently. But that said, the premise is pretty fun sounding. It's a gangster crime boss who's in therapy. Because that's like that's the little twist. It's like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of cool.
I get that, but I'm still like, gangsters. I just immediately go,
But it's something we should try at some point. Maybe that's a fun one-off already. We'll watch the pilot of Sopranos and
maybe
see how we feel about it. But yeah, so the script's written by Chase as well as Lawrence Connor, who was also who also worked on the show. That's Connor with a K, by the way. Much cooler spelling of it than yours.
Ugh, no.
That's the Mortal Kombat version of Connor.
I look down on people who spell it ER or who only spell it with one N.
This is K and an ER, by the way.
Oh God, no! I look down on those people enough already as it is. Now you're telling me it's a K? I'm really gonna just no. I can't take that.
It's the Mortal Kombat version of Connor. All right. Next up, Michael Bay has got his next 2 movies lined up. So he's got 2 films in the works. One is called Six Underground, which is being produced by Skydance. It comes from an original idea from Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, best known for Deadpool. So they're going to start shooting that in 2019. No plot details on that one. The other film, though, is a film that originally was going to be directed by Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg was attached to this for a long-ass time, but obviously he's got a bunch of other projects, and he keeps not getting to it. So Robopocalypse is now going to Michael Bay, which I do like the title. I can't
do as well,
that.
but do I like it as a title of a Michael Bay movie?
Yeah, in Robopocalypse, robots turn on us. No thanks to AI. AI Arcos, a global network of machines on which the world has become dependent upon. At 0 hour, the moment when the robots attack, the human race is almost annihilated, but as its scattered remnants from around the world regroup, humanity looks to battle the bots. So basically, it's a knockoff of what happens in Terminator.
It's Skynet.
It's Skynet, yeah. That's what it sounds like.
That's what I was thinking, which is fine. It's kind of, I mean, it's obviously it's now just a commonly accepted trope. Sure.
And also, it's also not what Terminator focuses on. It's just kind of the backstory in Terminator for what the actual main plot is. But I can't read that plot and not think Terminator.
No, I agree. Even though I'm like, I get it. Loads of people have done it now, but yeah, Terminator.
And I believe it's based on a book.
Okay, it sounds like big fun action. I don't know, but then you tell me it's Michael Bay, and I go, never mind.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Michael Bay has done something that I've been remotely enthusiastic about. First Transformers was okay at the time. As time went on, it's been a bit harder to stomach.
I haven't rewatched it in a long time. The last time I watched it, I still enjoyed it, but that's probably like 5 years ago.
And obviously the sequels are, rough to garbage depending on the one you're on. His best film is still The Rock, for the record. The Rock, Bad Boys 2 is pretty fun. It's a bit bloated, it's a bit too long, but Bad Boys 2 is pretty fun.
It's not a bad movie, for sure, yeah.
But yeah, that's a long time ago now.
It is. I don't think he remembers how to make good movies.
No. And Pain and Gain is one of the worst things I've ever had to sit through in a theatre. I'll say that right now.
Oh, I don't envy you for that.
I was talked into it, and both of us hated it.
Tell me you at least got something out of this. Like this, you were bribed into
we went for dinner afterwards, and I made him cover most of the check. Because he talked me into Pain and Gain.
I'd have said you're paying for all of
it. Hey, I tried. Don't you worry, I tried.
You didn't try hard enough.
Oh god, I hated that movie so much. It was so tedious to get through.
I watched that movie drunk with a bunch of flatmates, and I still hated it. Which is really telling, because we watched some shite.
The Rock couldn't save it. He was trying his damn best, but he just couldn't do it. Anyway, speaking of Spielberg, actually, Spielberg had a secret, undisclosed project this week. Have a table read. They had a super secret table read, and everyone who's involved, all the actors involved, all signed NDAs. So there's not a whole lot of information. It's very mystery, very, very. So
the story is something happened.
I've got more. It's just not from the actors.
Okay.
Deadline had inside sources, but we're getting there.
Okay.
Right? But it was super secret. So they're all remaining mum, but the project is apparently an untitled biopic of conductor and composer Leonard Bernstein. which, funnily enough, he also wrote the music for West Side Story, which Spielberg is also in contention to do a remake of. So clearly he's a fan of this dude, because he wants to remake the movie and also do a biopic. However, apparently the scuttlebutt right now is that no matter how well the table read went, and no matter what he's feeling either with the biopic or the remake, chances are he's going to do one. He's probably not going to do both. It'll be either the remake of West Side Story or the biopic. But whatever one it is, it'll come after Indiana Jones 5. No matter what, that seems to be the next thing he's going to be doing.
Okay.
So, hey-ho. So that's the thing.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, he is proven capable at biopics, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whether that actively excites me or not is another story. A lot of it will be like, okay, what's the cast? What's the actual, the story of the biopic going to be? If it's, like, what's the incident that it revolves around, or the crux of it.
Yeah, I miss childlike wonder Spielberg.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I really do. But
I'm not sure Ready Player One's recapturing that.
And the funny thing is it feels like it should, given the premise, but
I'm not sure it will. And then I go, okay, so Indy 5's next, but
Crystal Skull wasn't exactly,
I know, exactly.
Was it really great? I mean, here's hoping though. Here's hoping Indy 5 it works out good. I like, if nothing else, I want Matt to be happy.
Oh yeah, Matt will love it no matter what though. He still loves Crystal Skull, doesn't he?
I mean, not as much as others, but yeah, he sticks up for it more than any human being should.
Exactly. He had Kong in his top 5. He'll be fine.
Here's the thing. I mean, I didn't necessarily hate Crystal Skull when I first saw it. Right, there was parts of it I definitely liked. There was parts that I wasn't keen on. Obviously,
I think it's overlong. Even on my first viewing, I was like, "It's too much."
But here's the telling part though. When I tried to rewatch it, maybe a couple of years later, I couldn't get through it. And it wasn't even like it was the worst thing ever. I just got bored and turned it off after 20 minutes. I just couldn't keep watching. And I think that's the biggest indicator that that wasn't that good.
You were in the hype of a new indie movie at the time.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah, at the time, just hearing the I was
That's
just enough.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But it was the same with Superman Returns. I didn't hate Superman Returns when I first saw it, because hearing that main theme in the opening titles in the theater was magical.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
When I grew up on those those Christopher Reeve movies, and I heard that in the theater, it was magical, and I walked out feeling quite upbeat about it. And every time I've rewatched Superman Returns since, every single time I've discovered another big problem that I don't have with it, and they're really big things as well. Oh, I hate this Lois Lane. Okay, check. I hate that it's a revisit of the whole property, real estate plot. Check. Oh, after the plane sequence, which is admittedly very good, the movie's boring as shit for the entire duration up until the end. Like,
I still like it. Well, I definitely don't like it anywhere near as much as that. The first time in the cinema.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was easily the hype. I caught up in the moment. I could still watch it and be quite happy, but I won't bat for it. I'm not gonna really go out hard for it.
God, casting Kate Bosworth as the spunky reporter Lois Lane, that was I mean, Bryan Singer's got a lot of problems that are far outweigh his movie making capabilities, but Jesus.
I will say though, I would have loved to see Ralph do more Superman.
Oh, Roth. I think I said Ralph there. I was like, who the hell's Ralph?
No, Ralph.
But yeah, no. But hey, he's the Atom now. He's got something going. Anyway, so moving on. So we mentioned the Superman theme. Speaking of John Williams, look at me go. I'm on fire with these segues.
It's not bad.
John Williams has announced that Star Wars Episode 9 will be the last time that he scores a Star Wars film. He's I'll be my 9th one, I've done all the main entries up until now, and I'm old as shit. It's time to quit.
I get it.
Yeah.
I love his music, and I love his Star Wars music, especially. But I get it. It looks like they're not going to be doing numbered episodes right away after 9, because we've got the other stuff going on. We've got the Ryan Johnson stuff. We've got the Game of Thrones guys stuff. They don't seem to be numbered episodes, and we've already established that he's not scoring the non-episodes anyway with Rogue One and now Solo.
And yeah, and not to be morbid, but at the time they do get back to if they're doing all those movies before they do any more numbered ones, by the time they get back to them, he's going to be ancient, if not, not with us anymore.
No, you're right. It's morbid, but it's not unlikely.
Well, just think about it. We're talking about at least 6 movies, and then maybe standalones in between those. So we're talking like another decade probably, after episode
Most
9.
likely, yeah. I
So,
agree with that.
You know,
He's not exactly a spry young man anymore, is he?
well, I mean, he did the first Star Wars, what, like 40 years ago? 42 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. He had a jazz career before that.
So, you know, very accomplished guy, obviously, and it's, you know, let him rest, I guess, is what I'm saying. But no, I like that he's rounding it off with something that feels like a sort of round place to do it. You know, it feels like, you know,
It does, doesn't it?
end of a saga kind of thing, and he's done all the main entries up until now, so.
He's 86 for the record.
86. Yeah, he's getting up there. That's good age.
It is, yeah.
Good age. So yeah, by the time I get back to the numbered films, he'll be about 96.
Yeah.
So
he's probably retired at that point.
You would hope. The poor man needs some rest. Let him rest. Yeah. All right, next up. So Emma Roberts has been cast in a supernatural comedy. Emma Roberts, of course, I love her from Scream Queens. She was also in The Black Coat's Daughter last year. She was also in. I didn't really know her at the time, but she was in Scream 4 as well. She was in that, so bit a bunch of stuff. Bit of a Scream Queen herself, actually. Not just because she was in Scream Queens, but just because she seems to be bouncing around a lot of these smaller horror stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a supernatural comedy, which is why it's not in the horror section. I didn't think it quite fit there. But you know, maybe it'll have a darker twist than I was expecting. We may see more of it. But as previously revealed by Deadline, Dan Mazer helmed project is based on the award-winning graphic novel by Russian writer and illustrator Vera Brozgul.
What's it called?
Anya's Ghost.
Okay.
Did I leave that out? That's my bad.
You did, yes. You just told us it's a supernatural comedy.
Yeah, Anya's Ghost is the title. Based on a screenplay by a Monsters Call author and screenwriter Patrick Ness. I never did get around to seeing that. I've heard good things, though.
I didn't either. I keep meaning to check it out.
I wanted to. It looked good.
It did look very good.
Look good.
Maybe I'll do it for next week.
Which reminds me that I Kill Giants is going to be a thing, and I'm looking forward to that.
It's good.
But hey, so the story follows Anya, an unpopular 16-year-old who gets stranded in an underground cave when she rescues Emily, played by Roberts, the apparent ghost of a teenage girl who died a century earlier. Initially, Anya thinks her new friend may be the best thing that ever happened to her, but the relationship has unforeseen consequences for Anya, her friends, and her family. So there's not a lot to say exactly where it's going to go later on. Like, is the ghost going to be a bad thing for her? Is it going to be more of a quirky comedy where the ghost helps her with other things that are bad? Or it's hard to say at this point. But obviously, you can go track down the comic if you want to find out.
Yeah.
But
I'm down.
I'm down. Honestly, my only criticism of this whole thing is that she's supposed to be the ghost of a teenager, and I'm like, she's I've been seeing her play college-age people for a while now.
It's like the Harry Potter one. You know, the Myrtle, the ghost from like early in the series. She was like 27 when she was playing that teenage girl.
And I don't even think Emma Roberts is really like much older than some of the TV actors that we see playing.
No, but you can't. It's that association. I think you said the same thing about someone last week or the week before.
Saoirse Ronan, maybe. I think
it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, where I'm actually used to seeing her playing slightly older. That now's telling me she's playing a teenager is actually harder to take because I'm just used to her being older than that now.
Yeah, definitely.
So same thing with Emma Roberts, especially because she played a teenager in Scream 4. Which made a decent amount of sense at the time, but Scream 4 came out in 2011. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah, I just checked. She's 27 now.
So yeah, it's starting to get a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, hey, other than that though, it sounds like it could be a fun time.
It is. I guess they cover it more with the ghost effects. They think
That's
they get
true.
away with it.
That's true, yeah. They'll have a lot of funky effects over the top of her, I suppose. That will take us on to trailers. Our mid-episode trailer talk. We're already an hour or so into the show, so that does not bode well for the overall length of this, but here we go. So first up, arguably the biggest thing of the week, although not for me personally, because I don't really have that much attachment, but Mary Poppins Returns got its first teaser trailer this week, which was a lot of kids flying kites in old-timey London.
It was very much here's a mood.
Here's a mood, and here's just a glimpse of what's her face? Damn it,
Emily Blunt.
Thank you, Emily Blunt at the end, as Mary Poppins, and hearing the voice just briefly, the posh voice. I saw Mary Poppins as a kid. I didn't really care for it. It wasn't my thing as a kid, and I don't really have any attachment.
Shock and horror.
So, well, that's the thing. As soon as the trailer started, I was like, this is a lot of whimsical nonsense. And if you're not familiar with me so far, if this is the first time you've watched anything from us, I'm not a big fan of whimsical. I don't like musicals. I don't like whimsy. It's just not my thing. I'm happy for those who want it. Have your Mary Poppins 2, Electric Boogaloo. Go for it.
Actually, I'm not a huge Mary Poppins fan. I think no, this is what I saw as a child, along with 1,000 other things of the style, and it wasn't something that I particularly attached to, and I've not seen it in a long time. So I mean, maybe I'd like it more if I watched it again now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I haven't got that attachment to it, so I don't necessarily care about this that much.
Fair enough. The trailer was just kind of setting a mood, as you said. There wasn't a whole lot to sort of dissect in it.
No, it's very much lots of long shots and tone, and it looks good in terms of visual style.
Yeah, and it had the big whole reveal where she's in the sky, flying her. Well, it's a kite in this case, but same difference. So yeah, that was it. Not a lot to say on it, but if you're excited, let us know. Next up, sticking with something whimsical potentially here, Christopher Robin got a trailer as well, with Ewan McGregor in here playing Christopher Robin, and we have CGI Winnie the Pooh. Is it the same voice actor? It kind of sounds similar.
Yeah, Jim Cummings.
Again, something that a lot of people of my age loved as kids that I just was never into.
I was big on Winnie the Pooh.
I have never seen a single episode of Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
Never read anything about Winnie the Pooh. Never. I have. Honestly, I was surprised that when he started speaking in this that I recognised the voice. I was actually surprised. I actually do know the voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think he's got such an iconic voice. It's funny because I know he was Winnie the Pooh and he was Tigger. It's obviously the main character. I'm sure you're familiar at least with the characters, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with Tigger, yes.
Yeah.
There's a little pig character. I don't know that one's name though.
Piglet.
Piglet. There you go.
Yeah. They're all pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, so I have the attachment. I did at least appreciate this. It seems like it might actually have some commentary on, like, because it obviously appears to him, and it's like I'm wondering if like there'll actually be some sort of deep themes here about like dealing with anxiety and dealing with your problems and.
Almost certainly, given the real world story of Christopher Robin and the reason why Pooh was created and his resentment at the character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost certainly going to deal with that in a more interesting way than perhaps the biopic from last year. I think it was Goodbye Christopher Robin, that one.
Yeah, because this is mixing biopic with an actual Winnie the Pooh movie. It's kind of a weird.
Yeah, and it's got a hell of a cast.
It does, yeah. So no, but at the same time, I have no attachment, so it's kind of like, okay, it's well done, but I'm not.
Oh, this
excited.
one I like because this one got me more than I expected, honestly. Because again, it's been a long time since I've seen anything Winnie the Pooh, but I hear the voice at the end, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, it seems fine for people who want it, but again, like I have no ill will. I'm just not. It's nothing I have an attachment to. So, knock yourselves out. Next up, we had a trailer for Netflix have got a movie, and the same damn actor from like that one with the time travel photo booth.
Yes.
What's his name?
Adam Devine.
There you go, Adam Devine. He's in here. It's him and two other dudes. This reminded me of like a comedy from the 90s where it's basically Damien Dark from Arrow shows up and he's like the Hans Gruber and he takes over this building and Adam Devine and his two buddies are the waiter staff there and they end up running around being the diehard Bruce Willis like trio, if you will, trying to save the day, but they're buffoons.
This is that sort of comedy in a post The Hangover world.
Sure, yeah. It was making me think of like I don't know, like I'm trying to think. Was it Airheads the one that was like an Adam Sandler sort of version of this? I don't know if that was like a bad guy plot though. Maybe I'm
sure.
seeing the three faces on the poster. I don't know if that was actually the plot of it, but there was definitely comedies like this though, where they did Die Hard, but it was a comedy, and the buffoon would have to try and like save the day. Which I'm not opposed to as an idea. I actually think it's a very fun idea for a plot.
Yeah, I
for
agree.
a comedy. I thought some of the jokes in this were a bit middling. I wasn't necessarily laughing at a lot of them.
No, hit or miss for sure.
But this is exactly the sort of thing that I wouldn't mind putting on for background. Just have it on while I'm doing something one day. Which it's on Netflix, so that's perfect for it. So,
yeah, that's coming out in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
It's this month.
Yeah, it's always with these Netflix movie trailers. It's always just a couple of weeks before release.
You say that? I saw the trailer for the first one like a month ago. It's been they've been pushing this one a while.
I never saw the first one, but there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was just a case of, sometimes Netflix autoplays trailers if you just kind of leave it and it doesn't do nothing. So I think I saw it because of that.
I'd want to watch this. I think it looks like it'll be. I mean, it could end up being much better or worse than I'm thinking it, but I get the feeling it's going to be a completely fine 6 out of 10. That'll be something I don't mind having on. I'll chuckle a few times with it, but then I'll forget it existed after I watch it.
I agree with that. Not a must-watch, but yeah, you might have fun while it's on.
Yeah. It depends if the humour annoys me, because it could go over that line where it's going to bug me, and if it does that, then it'll go into bad territory. Yeah. But no, I also love that. I just like Damien Dark now. Like he's just still Damien Dark. It doesn't matter what he's doing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you see him.
He's playing a villain, so he's Damien Dark. All right, next up we had the first trailer for The Grinch. There's the new CG animated film about the Grinch coming out this year.
Yeah.
What's your feelings?
I don't like The Grinch. I don't like Christmas movies, so piss off.
I like Christmas movies. And bizarrely, this is like a trend this week, but I have no attachment to The Grudge. I don't know how many times I can say that. I mean, technically I've got no attachment to Game Over Man either from the last one.
I only saw The Grinch for the first time maybe 2 years ago.
Which one? Like what Grinch?
The main one that people talk about.
The animated film?
No, not the animated one.
The Jim Carrey one?
Yeah.
That's not the main one people talk about. That's the
main one people always talk about that I see.
Oh, no. That's like... No, people talk about the old cartoon, and then there was a Jim Carrey live-action movie that's kinda...
Yeah, but that's the one people I feel like talk about more now. Anyway,
I don't agree with that.
See people... Okay, maybe this is my social circles. I was saying, like, from my experience, that's the one that people seem to talk about, that are always watching around this time of year.
Oh, no. I feel like people talk about that. I mean, the old cartoon more, but... I'll admit, I did chuckle at this trailer a couple of times, though. It doesn't look amazing, but... My dark sense of humour did appreciate him being a dick in the supermarket and, like bumping the shelves.
It's not the jam off or whatever it was.
Yeah, because the woman's trying to reach it and he picks it instead and puts it back up and then bumps the shelf so it falls off and smashes.
Yeah, it's on her. She should have caught it.
I got a chuckle at that. So maybe it'll be okay. I don't know.
Maybe. I'll probably never see it, but... No, I tell a lie. I'm going to get dragged to this.
Yeah, the girlfriend's only way to watch this.
This is Illumination, I believe, who do the Minions movies, and
that's pretty clear because at the start of the trailer you get the Illumination logo has a minion.
I will not defend those movies. They are mediocre to outright bad, depending on which one you watch.
Mm-hmm.
They did do Secret Life of Pets, which was a pretty decent Toy Story remake. It's no Toy Story, but it's all right.
I've only seen the first Despicable Me out of these, I think, and it was fine. It was okay. Like I didn't hate it.
Unfortunately, yeah, that one's probably the best of the bunch, though.
No,
which is maybe not.
Honestly, these movies are just kind of ones that are aimed outside of my realm of interest. So it's not like, again, I have no problem with them existing. I just like, do what you got to do. I've said that a lot though. That's 3 out of 4 trailers that are just like not aimed for me. But hey, next up we got a new trailer for Tully. We talked about the teaser trailer a while back for this. That was very kind of just like, she's up one night and the baby's crying and she's kind of miserable, and that's kind of all that teaser was. Here is a proper trailer. We're introduced to the characters. Mackenzie Davis, who we just mentioned in Terminator, is in this. She plays Tully. She's the nanny that's here to help. And I thought this was a pretty funny trailer actually. I thought there was some good funny moments in here.
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's not really doing much for me. I think it's fine, but it's not hitting me.
I mean, I'm not like super pumped about it, but there was a few funny lines in there. The one about at the end where she's like, "Oh, my hole's not been, benefited in a long time," or whatever she said, and there was a couple of witty lines in there that I kind of liked.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's bad. I just it's not landing for me personally.
It looks kind of like a coming of age movie for middle-aged people.
It does.
That's what it is. It's her learning to be like a mother of 3 kids and a wife.
Maybe this is just the fact that you're older than me. That's why you're enjoying it more.
We're in the same damn generation, you prick.
I know, but I'll take what I can.
You think we were like 15 years apart? There's like 4 years between us.
It's something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm just saying, I'll take what I can.
Like, Yeah, it looks fine. I like Juno. I thought Young Adult wasn't as good, but it was still pretty reasonable watch. So I think there's.
Like I say, I don't think this is going to be bad. I think it's pretty good for what it is. It's just not for me.
Fair enough. So yeah, I mentioned Juno did that. It's Diablo Cody who wrote those. Wrote this as well, and Jason Reitman directing. Alright, so next up we had a trailer for a comedy. It's called Furlough, and it's Tessa Thompson from Creed and Thor Ragnarok. She's a prison guard who's transporting this prisoner across the country for whatever reason, and it's kind of about the antics of her just sort of being one-on-one with this prisoner and looking after her and making sure she doesn't run away, and find out that she's never met her daughter, and she maybe like ends up helping her when she's not supposed to because she's a human being, and all the rest of it. Anna Paquin's in there as well, and various other people. This looked like an inoffensive comedy that I don't really want to watch.
Pretty much, and I like Tessa Thompson a lot.
I do like Tessa Thompson a lot, and she's probably my favourite part of the trailer.
Agreed.
But it looks like a pretty just bland, forgettable comedy that has a really obvious
does,
message that it's going to be giving us, and that's it.
Yeah, I can see it's like, don't treat prisoners inhumanely. They're still people. I
thought
that's going to be a lot of that.
Oh, sure. I don't even necessarily think it's going to be as specific as, don't treat prisoners bad. It's just going to be a case of, never too late for a second chance, or, forgive yourself and try again, and all the rest of it. Honestly, though, I think the reason why it looks so bland and just a sort of generic comedy is that so many of the jokes were so obvious, and you could see them. They're just cliches. The whole thing, one of the first jokes in the trailer is when they're getting ready to leave the prison, and the prisoner's like, "All right, we're going to be going now," and she's like, "No, you don't say when we go. I say when we go." And there's an awkward silence for about a minute, and she's like, "Okay, we can go now." How many times have you seen that joke in things? That exact joke.
I have lost count. Like, genuinely, I could not count how many times I've seen that exact joke.
That joke is like such a cliche at this point, so
just stop writing that joke.
Yeah, exactly. We'll move on. Next up, we got a film called Pyewacket.
Yep, I think that's how you say it.
I think that's how you say it. This is a sort of low-budget thriller about a teenage daughter who is kind of getting into the occult with her friends, and her mother's not particularly happy about it. The mother, as the trailer proudly points out, was on The Walking Dead. She was Andrea on The Walking Dead. And
gotta have a claim to fame somewhere.
What's funny is, like, when the trailer started, I thought, okay, so the daughter's getting into the occult, so she's clearly going to be going into some dark stuff, and she's going to be kind of the villain. But then, as the trailer went on, I was like, oh no, the mother's like actually kind of like dark and a bitch herself. Like, I'm not actually sure from the trailer which one's going to ultimately be the more villainous or the more in the wrong. Honestly, it looks a bit ropey in terms of acting, in terms of I think it's an interesting idea for a plot. Have the kid get into the occult, and then it spirals out, and the parent doesn't know, because it could almost be like a horror story about fearing what your kids are going to become or something like that. You could do something like that with it, but as it does, it looks like it's going to be like a cheap thriller with bad acting.
It does, because I'm having a skim of the description here. The actual plot synopsis they provide, and it says she's dabbling in the dark arts, and there's an argument with the mother that leads her to do the unthinkable. She puts a death curse on her mother, and then regrets it, but doesn't know if it can be undone. So that's kind of the point. Is like, okay, maybe that was a bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't think I need to watch this one. I'll be honest.
Nah, it don't look particularly great.
If you do for some reason, March 23rd VOD.
Next up, we had the trailer for something called Prospect. It's a science fiction film. This is a film. It's at South by Southwest, I believe, and that's where the trailer came from. It is a science fiction film about basically like it's kind of like a western, right? The cat's stepping in things. So it's basically a western where it's kind of going out to mine, but on a planet. They're going out to this planet that might have valuable things on it, but there seems to be a third party who shows up, and it's a bit of a sort of western standoff. But honestly, there's not a whole lot in the trailer to really get a grasp of how good the plot might be. But what I was digging from it, it looked at least visually, it looked like a solid little low-budget sci-fi movie. Where
it's got a style, hasn't it?
They're in a fancy forest. They've dressed it up a little bit. They've got some cool space suits and stuff. But for the most part, it's it's about the tension of the trio of characters rather than because you've got the new younger girl who I think is in training, and the main salvager or minor. I don't know what the correct term would be in this case.
I mean, it seems like it's teenage girl and her father.
Oh, her father, yeah, but he's teaching her, the ways of the job and what to do, and obviously there's a third party who shows up, and there's some serious tension from that. But I was kind of digging the vibe of it. Like, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to go on in terms of the plot, or in terms of beyond they're on this planet and someone else shows up.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure it's the best trailer, but I like the look of what is there, even though it's not giving me enough, really, to be a proper good trailer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what I'll say as well is, obviously it's a low-budget sci-fi movie. Whenever it did show a glimpse of something like, a spaceship in space, it still looked pretty good. So obviously they were using what little they had for those scenes. They made sure
they'll likely be few and far between, but what they have got looks respectable.
Yeah, so I'm into Prospect as an idea. So I'll keep an eye on that. Next up, we had a trailer for The Seagull, which is Saoirse Ronan, Elizabeth Moss. There was someone else, another notable name in there that I'm forgetting. Corey Stoll, Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Also on House of Cards.
Very forgettable man.
He is very forgettable. He was also in The Strain. I remember I didn't realise it was him that was on The Strain because he had like a bad wig on. And then as soon as someone pointed it out, I was like, oh shit, it's Corey Stoll with a wig.
Oh, I'm so glad I never watched that.
He played a character called F.
Inventive.
And his gimmick was that he liked milk a lot. So in his opening scene in the first episode of The Strain, someone threw him a carton of milk and he caught it and he started drinking milk.
Why are we talking about The Strain?
And I'm someone who likes milk, but I thought that was just stupid as shit. But anyway. So this is a period piece costume drama, romance, love triangle film. Kill it with fire. I want nothing to do with it. Take it away from me.
Saoirse Ronan and Elizabeth Moss. Love them both, but no.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. Honestly, the only time I chuckled, and not that it's supposed to necessarily be a funny trailer, but the only time that I chuckled or gave any kind of reaction was at the end when Elizabeth Moss is just this miserable wench who's just like, oh, I'll fill this void. We'll get married. Like, but it's really cynical and just kind of like that kind of made me chuckle. There was some layers to that line, but the rest of it was just typical. Oh, we're in fancy dresses. We're in a house in the country, and there's lots of trees, and there's love. And I'm like, oh, piss off. This looks boring as shit. I want no part of it. I'm sure if you like this kind of thing, it might be delightful. But
my girlfriend was watching the trailers with me today.
Oh, aye.
And she was into this one. So.
Oh God.
Yep.
You're gonna have to watch it, aren't you?
Maybe. I get out of some of them.
This just looks so... Do you know the thing is, there's a lot of stuff where I'm not necessarily into, but I'd be down to watch it with someone. But there's some things where I know I am just going to be
This
painfully
is one
bored.
where if she makes me watch it, I will sit there and read a book or read some comics while it's on in the background.
I can't do
and
that.
Just go and when she laughs, I'll just laugh along and pretend there's something there.
Pretend there's something there, not this gaping void that the relationship's become. Yes.
It's obviously.
And the great thing is, because you're ginger and you don't have a soul, your laugh always sounds void of emotion anyway. So she won't tell the difference.
True, it does. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect cover.
She won't tell the difference. Next up, we had a trailer for another science fiction film, another low-budget sci-fi film called Outpost, which is about one person on a space station, an outpost obviously, discovers alien entity, and it becomes about him and his robot companion who's, because at first you're like, oh, it's him and his wife or him and his girlfriend, and it's, oh no, it's a robot, and it's them like dealing with the threat of this alien entity on their own. Obviously this appeals to me just in concept because it's sci-fi.
Yeah,
I think it's an all low budget sci-fi film. Unlike Prospect, I think I can see the budget more on the effects in this one.
I agree, but they are doing a lot more with their effects.
They are, yeah. But at the same time, that wouldn't ruin the movie for me. I'd still get into it if it plays off. There's one really nice moment in slow motion as this alien entity. It's basically like shadow tentacles or something are coming towards them, and he's sort of hugging the robot, and he like pulls his gun out from behind, and he sort of like flips it as he's doing it. I'm like, oh, that's a cool little motion as he was doing it. And I'm like, okay, I can see this. I can see this being like a low budget train wreck. Like it's just going to like be kind of crappy. But if it actually nails what the drama it's doing with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is one of those where usually I say trailers can show too much. This is one where I needed another 20, 30 seconds, I think, to really get me into it and make me go, okay, you're not just cherry picking.
That said, if someone threw it in my lap right now, I'd watch it and see what it's like.
Yeah, me too.
I'm intrigued enough that I want to see more. And admittedly, it's appealing to my sensibilities because I'm just into this kind of, sci-fi, aliens, robots in space, all this stuff. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it bites me in the ass, but any genre will bite you in the ass every so often. Nothing's all good.
It's true. We've watched many a shit sci-fi movie.
No, potential. Next up, we get a trailer for a Nicolas Cage film.
Oh, I swear we could have one of these every week.
We could. What's funny about this one actually is I also thought this was very low budget looking. It looks like it's going to be a direct to video movie. It just has that look to it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I like the idea of this movie, but it looks like it's going to be garbage, despite the fact that the idea is good. Because Nicolas Cage works for the Humanity Bureau, who go around telling people it's time to move to this glorious paradise of Eden. But of course, the cake is a lie. And it doesn't tell you in the trailer what's happening. My guess would be that they're being, because food supplies are short and because land can't
they're being recycled, shall we
into
put it
food
nicely.
or something. They're becoming the food or the energy or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's an action movie where he falls for this woman and her son, and starts to protect them instead. When he realizes he's been doing the wrong thing, he's been leading people to their death. He's like, "What have I done?" And he's helping them, and they're fighting off the evil government stooges that are coming after them.
And it's impressive that in a 2-minute trailer, it managed to be too on the nose with the Trump stuff.
There's a photo of someone with Trump in the.
And then there's a "Make America Great Again" poster.
Yep.
I mean, I can see that being fine in a full film, but I don't need that in a 2-minute trailer.
Yeah, a bit on the nose. Like I said, the ideas are fine, but it's very cliched. I've seen obviously a lot of these ideas done before better, and it looks pretty cheap for what it is. It has that cheap blue tint to it that a lot of these direct-to-video movies do.
Yeah,
maybe not blue tint, maybe not quite a blue tint, but it's desaturated. It's got that desaturated kind of look to it to hide the cost. But hey, so that was a Humanity Bureau. And then last up, we had a mysterious little teaser trailer for a film called Trash Man. And I clicked on this thinking, what the hell is this? And it ended up being mostly just like this guy in a balaclava, like in a tunnel, holding like a flare, I think it was.
Yeah.
Red flare. The camera comes in, we hear some narration, and we do cut to some other stuff in the middle of it, and then it comes back to him in the flare. And it's like, it's time to take out the trash. It seems to be some sort of vigilante movie. Or some sort. Here's the thing. I was intrigued by this. I was intrigued because I liked the style, the look of it, and I liked it had this sort of grindhouse, like 80s action revenge kind of movie, graininess to it, and it had the cheesy dialogue. And I'm like, this. I kind of like the impression I'm getting from this. And I was like, okay, there's not a lot of information here. I looked it up. I was like, I want to know about this.
I'm glad you did, because you said you went into this and you went, what the hell's this? I still feel that way at the end of the trailer.
Oh no, I do too. So I looked it up, but I like the style, but I'm like, okay, what is this? But what is it? And I went to IMDb, looked it up. It is there, but it's one of those ones that says, oh, this is just in development, so you have to have IMDb Pro to see the details. So it's just not there properly. I'm like, okay, so I just Googled it, and I could find almost nothing. It's also worth mentioning that the YouTube view count on this trailer was only like 800 or something like that. There wasn't a lot of people who had watched it.
Yeah, no, this was published March 2nd, so this is like a week ago.
Yes. So
813 views.
At the time of recording, yeah.
Yeah, and the entire description is just a quote that says, it's time to take out the trash, and then trashmanfilm.com, which I'm going to click on.
I love it. I love it's time to take out the trash.
Trashmanfilm.com. All it comes up with, literally the entire page, is Trashman, the big yellow and red logo, the video embedded, and then some text underneath saying coming soon to a theatre near you.
I love
That's it.
I love everything about the mystery. This might end up being just complete garbage, ironically,
Oh, it probably will.
But I like the grindhouse vibe I was getting from the trailer, and I like how there's no evidence almost of this existing beyond their own website.
I have no idea how you stumbled across this.
Reddit, baby. But I'm putting that in.
Rely on Reddit.
I like that minute-long teaser. It is nothing but a teaser. I can't really.
Beyond I have no idea what it's about. There's some shots of a hammer with some blood.
Yeah.
Some bloody hands with a ring.
I think at one point it was like a flower blossoming, maybe, or something.
There
like
is,
that.
and I will say it had a really nice thing where it starts desaturated and comes into full color as the flower blooms.
So I'm expecting glorious B-movie grindhouse revenge vigilante movie, and I'll have fun with that. But that's been such an oddity to find, and then I couldn't find any information on it, and I thought, oh, that's weird. Does this really exist? Have I stumbled
I'm
into?
not sure it does.
Have I stumbled into the Twilight Zone? I'm not sure.
This might be a joke.
It could. I mean, it could be. I mean, but hey, it's got a website.
It's got a one-page website with just the video.
And to be fair, it does have an IMDb page. You can't see any details unless you're a pro member.
No,
but
they can make their own page.
I'm not saying this couldn't be faked. I'm saying it's pro. I mean, we've been tricked before. That stupid Dundee movie that had tons of real actors in it was a fake trailer.
It seemed real. It seemed plausible.
I think this is real, and I just think this is their weird. I just think it's a small movie that no one really knows about yet, and they're just trying to start marketing themselves.
You want to spread the word. That's what this is, isn't it?
I want to spread. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be worth spreading the word for, but I'm hoping it is.
You want to spread the word just in case.
So Trash Man. It's time to take. I can see the glorious 80s port. Trash Man. It's time to take out the trash.
That's what they have on their website right now. If you go to it, trashman.com, you can't miss it. Or is it Trashman Film?
Yeah, has Trash Man been taken?
Let me load it back up and check.
Garbage Man was taken first, then Trash Man. So then we went to go get Trash Man for the film.
Trashmanfilm.com.
There you go. But by all means, check out the trailer and let us know what you think. Obviously, all the links to the trailers are all in the description. I should say that at the start of the trailer section, but I forget. But they're all in the description always. So I guess what we do now is we pick our favourite trailer of the week. That's what we do at the end of the trailer section. So how are you feeling? What was your favourite?
Oh, it's kind of tough this week. There's no standout as, that was my favourite.
Well, it's to each their own, but Trash Man's there, so I don't know what I'll pick.
Ever. The Trash Man was a surreal oddity that I'm intrigued by in some level, but I cannot in good conscience call it my favourite trailer.
Okay, sure, but would you say it's the most intriguing?
It might be.
It
might be.
I'm also intrigued by Prospect. I'm intrigued by Outpost, which is just kind of obvious because of the ones that kind of appeal to me because of sci-fi movies. But
I think I'm kind of going to be boring and go with Christopher Robin. That got me more than I expected to.
That's fair. I'm going with Trash Man. And here's the thing. Here's why, right? Because like you say, none of the other ones stand out as being like head and shoulders above the rest. There's some obviously shitty ones. We didn't like, Seagull and we're just kind of meh on the Grinch.
If nothing else, Trash Man was memorable.
It was memorable, and it felt like it had a style to it because it was just like this one shot in the tunnel, and then it cut to a couple of things. It was very stylized. It wasn't like a typical trailer, and that always sticks because to go to Tully, right? This told me more about the plot, but I actually liked the teaser trailer more because it was just a tease, and I think that actually worked better because it told me enough that it was about it's a middle-aged woman who gets this help from this new person. We got that from the teaser, and then this one was like, no, it's a full-on coming-of-age middle-aged story.
You're right. Sometimes I love teaser trailers, like the Christopher Robin one. I don't know if I need a full trailer of that. Like that there with that moment of okay, I get it.
Yeah,
that's enough to make me want to see it.
I'm sold. Yeah, after the teaser sometimes and. I like the Trash Man trailer. People are going to give me shit for it probably, but I do enjoy the era of movies that it is harkening back to.
I can't argue with that.
So, Trash Man. Well, that will take us back on to the general movie news, part 2.
Let's get to it.
Even our general news has sequels. So, first up, here's something you were expecting to hear about this week.
Oh, God.
There's going to be a Bollywood Archie movie.
Oh, I saw this headline and I was like, oh, I'm not even going to look at this. I'm going to wait for Pete to give me the details.
Archie Comics and Graphic India have announced plans to develop a Bollywood-style live-action film based on the Archie Comics characters. The company touted that production as the first international comic to be translated for Indian screens and said it is in the early stages. An official release date will still to be announced. The film will reimagine the classic characters like Archie, Betty, Veronica, Reggie, Moose and Jughead with an Indian cast and will feature all the elements of the comic book series. But it's going to be a Bollywood movie with singing and dancing and all the shenanigans that go with that.
I know for my local cinema clearly there's an audience around me for Bollywood films because they get all the main Bollywood releases.
The one near me doesn't, but the one in more in the city does have like usually there's one playing at any given time.
Yeah, no, mine has like often 2 or 3 in a week.
Oh jeez, okay.
Yeah, so I can guarantee my cinema will get this.
Are you going to go see the Archie Bollywood movie?
I think I might have to.
Yeah.
There might be an obligation just to see it.
Here's a question: did they put like a blonde wig on the one who's supposed to be Betty? Because you have to have them have different hair colours, right? I mean, that's Betty and Veronica.
Oh, no, you're right. They do.
And if Cheryl's there, is there a redhead wig as well? Like, is that, do we do the wigs?
Just do it through hair dye.
They're going to do that. They'll just have wigs. It's fine.
Temporary hair dye is pretty common.
I feel like they use wigs more in movies these days if they can.
Maybe, but I don't know. I feel like it depends how it looks.
I don't know. I'm just curious. As to how far they're going to go with the adaptation.
I have no idea.
It's amusing.
But this is one of those where I don't even know if I want to see this, but I need to see this.
Yeah, knock yourselves out. I have nothing else to add.
I need to know what this looks like.
Nothing else to add. Singing about Jughead singing about cheeseburgers and I don't know. So, all right, let's move on. So, Blumhouse. We're not quite in the horror section yet, but this. I mean, kind of sounds like a horror movie, maybe, but it's more of a sci-fi movie by the sounds of it.
But Blumhouse, you should have assumed horror.
Yeah, I know, but hey, for some reason I didn't. It's called Invasion, and it is a spec script written by John Swetnam and Harris Wilkinson. It's a ticking clock sci-fi premise with themes that include immigration. It's essentially a thriller that revolves around a home invasion that happens during an alien invasion.
Okay.
So the only other thing we know about it right now is that apparently there's a strong female role in the film. I assume that means the lead, but
probably, yeah.
Alien invasion or home invasion during an alien invasion is an interesting concept.
Well, that's the thing, because you said invasion, and normally Blumhouse, I'd have gone, okay, I'll assume home invasion, but you've said sci-fi, so I'm thinking aliens, and
it's
then
both.
You swerved me, and it was both.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah. So, okay, I'll keep an eye on that. I hope they change the title, though. I think the title's too generic.
It is, but I think they like the double meaning.
I mean, I get it, but the last Body Snatchers remake was called Invasion as well. So not only is it hard to search for, 'cause it's just one word, it's also one that I vividly remember movies from 15 years ago having the same title.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Which does bug me. But hey, next up, Black Label Media has optioned the rights to Devotion, an epic story of heroism, friendship, and sacrifice. They're going to make a movie. So Adam Makos wrote the book 2015, and it was about 2 Korean War Navy pilots, one from an affluent white New England family, the other a black son of a Mississippi sharecropper, and they become the greatest pair of top pilots in US history. Glenn Powell, they say he played John Glenn in Hidden Figures. I am going to counter that by saying he was Chad effing Radwell on Scream Queens.
Yeah, you're damn right he was.
Look at that, but both him and
Emma Roberts
in the same week getting movie roles.
Chanel and Chad, what a pair! I know. The true power couple of TV.
But he's going to play the one of the pilots, the white dude, obviously.
I should bloody hope so.
So, Mako's novel digs into the unexplored chapter in American combat history set during the Korean War with an era fraught in racial disparity. Tom Hudner decided to forgo Harvard to join the Navy, while Jesse Brown became the first black man in US naval history to become a fighter pilot. Despite their differences, an unbreakable bond was forged, and the two would become known as the US Navy's most celebrated aviator duo. It sounds like a reasonable thing to make a movie about. You get to have your heroes. You get to have a nice story about racial barriers being broken down. It's the sort of thing, if they play their cards right, this could be a big Oscar contender if they want to.
It could. Do you know what is interesting to me? That I didn't realise the Navy also covered. The US Navy also covered, pilots. I think Navy. I think ships.
Well, sure. I imagine it has something to do with because all the they'll be on the carriers, right?
Right,
These
right. But
planes.
I'd have still have thought, is there not a separate division for that?
Well, the Air Force, but maybe in the 60s the Air Force didn't exist yet. Maybe that was something that
No, no, could be.
was set up later.
I just assumed that was always a thing, but clearly not.
No, I agree. I'd have thought Air Force as well. But maybe the Air Force is a newer, relatively speaking, a newer
It might well be
organization. Or maybe just because, I mean, again, wouldn't they all come from carriers depending on where they're going?
If they're coming from anywhere, basically, unless they're domestically launched, then they're coming from a carrier.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just a lack of military history.
No, that's
on
on
our
us.
parts.
I'm not saying that they're wrong. It just struck me as strange.
But there you go. But hey, so I assume they're going to maybe truncate the title down to just Devotion, maybe.
Yeah, it's a very Oscar bait title, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very long title there, but Chad Radwell.
Yeah.
In big movies.
I'll be honest though, it sounds alright. It sounds like, obviously this comes down to how it's actually executed, but I can see a great movie out of this.
Yeah, I see the story being there, and yeah. So next up we have Don Johnson. The actor has been cast in director Tom DiNucci's Vault, joining Theo Rossi, Clive Standen, and Samira Wiley. So it's a Verdi Productions project. Sorry. Johnson will play the role of Jerry in a story inspired by true events, written by DiNucci and B. Dolan. Vault follows a group of small-time Rhode Island criminals who in 1975 attempt to pull off the biggest heist in American history, stealing more than $30 million from the mafia. Which is funny because we had that Fight Night project either last week or the week before, which was kind of like another heist story about stealing from the mob and stuff.
It was, and we were going, oh, that's different.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got two. It was funny, though, is that one last time was just the biggest in the state, whereas this one is one of the biggest in the country's history.
Yeah. Okay, we've had two in 2 or 3 weeks, so we're due a third, right? Because, these things always come in threes.
Well, I don't know about movies, because I think movies, it's actually more pairs. Dante's Peak and Volcano, Armageddon, and Deep Impact. Like, it's always pairs with movies.
Okay, I see your argument.
Battle LA and Skyline, although that one's a bit different because they actually stole plot from each other.
Christopher Robin, and goodbye, Christopher Robin.
There you go. Jobs and Steve Jobs.
You might be onto something.
It's always pairs. But anyways, we'll see if they both actually end up happening.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Netflix announced that they've acquired the global rights to Daryl Hannah's directorial debut. It's a film called Paradox. I got excited because, Paradox. That sounds like something I'd be into. Paradox.
It does, doesn't it? You say paradox, you think time travel.
Yeah. It's a goddamn musical.
Oh, I'm in. Well, maybe. Who's doing the music?
I'll get to. I might get to that in a minute. Oh, yeah, Neil Young, and The Promise of the Real.
Okay, never mind.
It's a premiere South by Southwest on March 15th, and it's going to be on Netflix on March 23rd. So it's coming pretty soon. So billed as a fantasy, a loud poem, and free-spirited tale of music and love, Paradox follows a band of outlaws hiding high up in the mountains. The man in the black hat, played by Neil Young, the particle kid, Mika Nelson, and jail time, Lucas Nelson, pass the hours searching for treasure while they wait for the full moon to lend its magic, bring the music, and make the spirits fly. My God, I hate that description with every fibre.
It sounds like a musical. I might watch it.
There is no substance in anything that just said.
There's not.
Waiting for the music, waiting for the moonlight to let the magic fly, and I was like, shut up. Just shut up.
I can't agree with you. This will be one I'll maybe check out a trailer when Netflix does their own little trailer that'll pop up for me when I hover over it.
Yeah, Daryl Hannah wrote and directed it, so have at it. I want no part of it.
Well, I'll force him into a review, folks. Don't worry. He wants those clicks.
Cheryl Dunye is going to write and direct The Wonder of All Things at Lionsgate. Is a supernatural story that follows 13-year-old Ava, who discovers her healing powers after saving the life of her friend Wash. Wash? That sounds like that's a character's name, that. Oh, kind of like Wash from Firefly.
I'm not taking the bait.
Alright, we'll move on. I'm not going to Do you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do the reference here. That's fine.
It doesn't matter. Everyone already heard the reference play in their mind. It's there.
I'm not going to do it here.
Oh God, that means you got something else.
So she saved her friend Wash following a plane disaster at an air show. Anya has been writing and directing indie films since the 90s. Her debut feature, The Watermelon Woman, won the Teddy Award for Best Feature Film at the Berlinale. The Berlinale? I don't know. I don't know how to say that. But at the festival,
give up on that one.
Yeah, at the festival in 1996. So she won awards for some previous films like The Watermelon Woman, and also for HBO's The Stranger Inside in 2001. So I'm not super familiar with her, but it seems like she's making more of a name for herself.
I have no idea what any of those films are, I'll be honest, but that doesn't mean that won't be good.
No, so we got chemistry powers, but I thought it was worth mentioning. So next up, Fox has actually got the rights to a short story called Epoch Index. It's a short story novella by Christian Santrell that had 6 studios vying for its rights. So this is I think Netflix had one recently. It was a short story they bought the rights to.
Yeah.
I want to say it was called something like The Inside Out or something like that. I can't remember. Honestly, all the news.
I remember the story. I remember talking about it, but I don't remember the title.
All the news goes in when we were talking about it, and then like next week I'll have forgotten most of it.
The problem is we have so much that I can't keep all of this in my brain.
Oh, of course not. I can't. So Brad Payton's attached to direct it. He's the one who did San Andreas. He's doing Rampage, which is coming out soon. We mentioned that earlier.
Okay. So no San Andreas 2 anytime soon then.
Justin Rhodes, who is writing both the Terminator 6 that's coming out and Fantastic Voyage, which actually reminded me, that Terminator story earlier with Mackenzie Davis said that the one coming out soon was the 5th entry. That is a lie. It's already had 5. It's the 6th one that's coming out soon.
Yeah, which one have they purged from their memories?
I don't know. Not that I blame them.
Bastards.
Yeah, not that I blame them very much, but yeah, fair enough. So the writer of the new Terminator and Fantastic Voyage reboot is going to write it. So I can't actually comment on his skill yet, but he's doing other big projects, so I can say that much.
Clearly, the people like what he's doing.
Yes. Matt Reeves is producing it.
Okay.
So I don't know how directly involved he's going to be, but he's producing it. The story is a 36-page novella that was published in 2010. It was self-published, in fact. This is the synopsis. A CIA analyst is tasked with tracking down a flashy assassin whose targets are seemingly random. Connected only by a series of numbered tags left on each victim, Quinn Mitchell comes to the mind-boggling discovery: the targets are being sent to the assassin from the future. By her.
I'm definitely in.
Yeah. You're like, assassins, that's fine. He's like, sent to the future. Oh, that's interesting. By her. Oh.
Even before the future, I was like, I can see this as a movie. Like, I can see the movie and it being pretty good. But then you tell me the time travel stuff. Oh, I'm well in. Yeah. So it's called Epoch Index. Cool.
So
keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, that's something to keep a look out for. I like the sounds of it. So that takes us on to the horror section of the week, horror movie section. So first up, not a lot of information here, but the names are notable enough that this is worth mentioning. Elizabeth Banks is going to star in an untitled horror film that is being produced by James Gunn. Of course, he directed Slither, which Elizabeth Banks was in 2006. It's a pretty fun movie. David Yarovesky, who made The Hive, is going to direct it. It's written by Brian and Mark Gunn. I had no idea there was this many Gunns in the family. There was this many people who are.
I knew there was a couple because James often refers to some brothers.
Well, yeah, Sean Gunn is in movies with him. Like I've seen him in his movies. He's in Guardians 1 and 2.
No, but I mean, he often says brothers plural.
Sure, but he's got an all 2 here seemingly.
Maybe cousins.
Oh, it could be, but this is Brian and Mark Gunn. They're writing it. So I mean, obviously there's some Gunns directly involved with it. If James isn't necessarily as hands on with this one, but that's all we have. But I thought it was worth mentioning, given the names involved.
I like all the names that you've said that I'm familiar with anyway.
Yeah. Next up, Andrea Riseborough is apparently close to accepting a role in the new remake of The Grudge that Nicolas Pesce is going to direct.
They're doing another one?
They're doing another one. Of course, its original film was due on The Grudge from Japan back in 2002, and then we had the 2004 version, the US version, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, who, fun enough, is also in this film with Clea Duvall, who was in that one episode of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Out of Mind, Out of Sight in season 1. Also, Sarah Michelle Gellar was also in Buffy, just for the record.
I knew it was coming. I knew there was another one. As soon as you said you're not doing it here.
Did you like how I subverted your expectation there?
No, because I just didn't give a shit.
Okay, alright. Someone liked it. I know they did. But yeah, so obviously, if you're not familiar with The Grudge, you know, in Tokyo, spooky ghost, revenge ghost starts hunting down
make
people.
That creepy noise.
Anyone who goes in the something like that. But yeah, so yeah, they're doing a remake of that. That's happening.
Fine, I guess.
Andrea Riseborough has been in a bunch of stuff. You'd know her face. Most recently, she was in a Black Mirror episode, Crocodile.
Oh, right, okay.
She was in that.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely know her face then.
Yeah.
I never saw the American version to begin with. Any good?
It's not bad. It's not as good as the original, but it's not bad.
Alright, well, cool.
It holds up better than the Ring remake. I'll say that much.
I bet it does.
But hey. And then last up on the news this week, Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe have been cast in Villains, a darkly comedic thriller, although I'm kind of assuming this is a horror movie here, just based on what the plot is, even if it's got a comic kind of twist to it. So they're going to be in a film called Villains, which is directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson, based on their own screenplay which made The Blacklist in 2016. Villains follows a pair of amateur criminals who, after breaking into a suburban home, stumble upon a dark secret and two sadistic homeowners who will do anything to keep it from getting out. So a little bit of Don't Breathe in the concept to a point, but we don't know what the gimmick of the owners are, or you know why they're breaking in or anything like that.
Yeah. Plus, it'll have the comedic tone to set it apart.
Yeah, it'll have more of a comedy twist to it. Micah Monroe, of course, was in It Follows, one of the best horror films of the last 20 years.
Won't argue with that.
So that is a notable name to mention there. Again, I think the title's really short and generic. That's going to be hard to search for. Villains.
Oh, God, yeah. I'll be honest, I'd forgotten what it was.
Yeah. It's that generic. So I'm hoping to change that into something a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
But hey, so that is actually the news for the week. That is done.
Oh, cool.
And actually, we're not even hit 2 hours yet. Like, we have to get through what Connor's watched this week that he wants to talk about.
It's not a huge amount, I'll be honest.
But if we can rush him through this, we may actually break the 2 hour thing and stay.
We might.
So Connor, what did you watch this week that was not for review that you wish to discuss?
Okay, two of them are leftover Oscar movies.
Okay.
That we never got to. One was Call Me by Your Name. Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's pretty good. I had no desire to watch it again. It's just a pretty basic romance. I mean, if you like romance movies, it's pretty good for that. Acting's solid. Don't get me wrong, but I have no need to watch it again. It's fine.
Side note here: Armie Hammer's wife, because he's in the movie, of course. His wife is suing someone because someone impersonated her to get into a party sometime in the last couple of weeks. Some sort of ball, some sort of fancy ball. That, and she was impersonated to get into it. So I thought it was amusing.
I did like Armie Hammer in that a lot, though. The other one that I watched was I, Tonya, which is a lot of fun. Interestingly, giving the same director, right, as we covered Lars and the Real Girl. I thought that was better.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate, but good performances. Really strong. Music supervisor deserves a shout out because it was great song after great song.
I assume they were all appropriate of the era, how much it was.
Oh yeah. Some great pieces. I was thoroughly enjoying that.
Okay.
Good performances all round.
Now that I'm not in a rush to see it before the Oscars, I don't know when I'll get around to it, but I intend on it at some point.
Yeah, and then the one that the girlfriend made me watch. This is, I thought about maybe even not bothering with this one, mentioning this one, but we covered the trailer, I believe, in one of our first episodes.
Well, go on.
This is Monster Family.
Ah.
It's as boring as it looks. The high point is when it opens and you have Dracula, by Jason Isaacs, I might add, so he's pretty good, doing a musical number. You have some bats, some of his bats in his castle doing a bit of stuff on the organ first, then he comes in and does a full musical number. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun. For, I can get into this. And then it's just boring as shit after that. I think Nick Frost plays the father, who becomes Frankenstein's monster, is utterly wasted. I think he has about 6 lines of dialogue in the movie, and the rest of it is just grunting and fart noises.
That's a shame.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, there's some nice musical pastiches here or there. Like they go to the desert, plays on the Lawrence of Arabia themes, and stuff like that. There's a little bits here or there, but mostly it's boring, and you probably shouldn't watch it.
Do you know, I'm a lonely soul. Lonely, depressed, no one to share my life with at the moment. It's very miserable, but there are some perks to it.
Yeah, you hear me go, I have to watch this, and you go, good.
There's some perks to being single. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's the high point, I guess, that you wouldn't have to watch this.
There's a lot of other things that I would like to have, but having to watch this shit is not one of them, so I'm okay with that part. But no, I didn't get around to anything this week that wasn't for reviewing. So I almost put something on the other night. I almost did, and then
what was it going to be?
Can't remember. Something on Netflix. I can't remember. Yeah. But I was like, nah, you know what? I'm not in the mood to watch a movie. I'm fine this week.
No, I'm kind of struggling because January and February I had themes for what I was going to be watching the month. And this month I'm kind of like, I don't really have a target to work towards, so I'm kind of a bit aimless. So maybe I'll start checking away at those 2018 Netflix movies that they're pumping out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll get back to it at some point. But we both went pretty hard at it in January, February, so I'm maybe slowing down a little bit this month to enjoy some other things.
Yeah.
And I'll get back onto it soon. But hey, so that is the show. Obviously, to tell you at the end of the show, kind of what other movie reviews have went up in the past week or so. Obviously, we mentioned the awards, our top 10s of 2017. Both of us plus Matt did that. You can have some fun with us going through them. Both the awards video and the top 10 video ended up being about 90 minutes each, give or take. So nice meaty conversations there if you want to check those out. The newest influx that went up for everyone was Blade of the Immortal. Me and Connor talked about that. That's the Takeshi Miike film, samurai film. The influx that went up for patrons early was the first Pacific Rim. That's up there for everyone, for patrons to see. That'll be going up for public next week. And then Gigawatts this week, we obviously had Lady Bird go up just before the Academy Awards themselves. We churned that out. Screams After Midnight this week, me and Tim had A Girl Who Walks Home Alone at Night go up. That was the Patreon vote winner for last month, actually.
Oh, yeah, they have good taste when it comes to your movies. I'm just a bit annoying what I'm watching after this.
Yeah, but to be fair, all 4 options in that vote were...
They were, but they did it last month as well.
Yeah. So the Patreon vote winner for Influx that we are going to be watching together as Connor gets slightly drunk after we recorded this is the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993, which Connor's never seen before.
I've seen the first 10-15 minutes, and that is it.
I saw it quite a few times growing up, so I mean I'm fairly familiar with the.
Sounds like child abuse.
Oh, I wasn't forced.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
I don't know. It didn't seem as bad as a kid.
To be fair, lots of things don't.
Yeah, kids are stupid.
Well, they are. People always say, why do they make kids things so stupid? Make it for everyone. It's like, because kids will like it, because kids are stupid. Stop defending them.
Well, no, but here's the thing, though. If they make it for everyone, kids will still like it, because there's lots of things that I like that will still work for adults.
Oh, no, there is. But, people go, oh, it's stupid. And you go, yeah, well, it's just a kids. It's just for kids. Just accept that it's just for kids. And they go, but that doesn't make it better. I'm like, well, no, but...
No, but the debate is then that some things shouldn't be just for kids.
No, that's true. But I think the times I often see it, it's like, it's fine if this is just for kids.
Because I'll say it right now, there's no reason why new Turtles movies, and I do mean Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, necessarily have to be just for kids. That can work, because they've got a whole nostalgic generation they can be profiting off of.
They do indeed.
So, you know what? No, that doesn't have to be just for kids. Don't tell me that Michael Bay's movies are okay, and I know he didn't direct them before anyone corrects me. He produced them.
But ultimately, what I'm saying is kids are stupid, and it's fine for kids to like stupid things. They'll grow out of it.
Yeah, within reason.
Yeah.
Within reason.
I just realised I really sound like I'm defending this because there's some really stupid shit that I liked, is what it sounds like. There probably is, but nothing's... This isn't why I'm defending it so much.
Sure. But that's this week's movie news. And I think we're probably just like a minute or two over 2 hours by the time this is all said and done. So that's not bad. That's
given that we had our Oscar talk at the start.
Exactly, yeah. I did a pretty good job this week cutting out a bunch of stories that I thought, no, that's not that interesting. We won't have much to say.
I bet I'll be angry at what some of them were.
Who knows? Maybe you will be, but
we'll never know now.
That is us. That is this week's movie news. So by all means, let us know what you thought of the news that was brought up in the episode. Let us know what you thought of the trailers this week. As I mentioned earlier on, the links to all those are in the description. Otherwise, that is us. So yeah, get us, like us, subscribe, get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. There's a link to that in the description. Of course, that helps us out. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys, and we'll see you next time.